had their two biggest players stand up in the middle. It all makes for a perfect summary at halftime, or a near perfect summary. But for Mushfiq or Shakib getting 100, 330 is some pretty good runs for Bangladesh in their first 50 overs of this year's World Cup. On ESPN Cricinfo Matchday UK 2019, it's our mid-innings show. I am Ronak Kapoor with Murli Karthik and Darren Ganga in studio, and we will get thoughts from Shahryar Nafees and Albi Morkel in just a bit as well. Karthik, let me start with you. I'd be very pleased if you were a Bangladesh fan to watch them hit the ground running.
Yeah, and that too against a very good side. It didn't seem as if they were overawed by the occasion, overawed by the fact that it was the first game, and that too against a good opposition. And the way Soumya Sarkar, Tamim Iqbal did look a bit nervy to start off. Not nervy, I would say, trying to find his groove, but Soumya Sarkar and the way the others, especially as you rightly said, those two big guns, two of the best players in the side coming in at the top, taking the responsibility. They didn't look like they were going to get out, to be very honest. Just the way they batted with authority. They were hitting shots at will, they were picking singles at will, and sometimes when something like that happens as a captain, they leave you bedraggled, and that's exactly what happened over there.
If anything, they've set the benchmark for the other Asian teams that have been guilty of just not showing restraint or patience and all the other things that Shahryar and Misbah-ul Haq and Dilshan have said. This was just about the perfect 50 overs innings from the Bangladesh batsman, Darren.
Yeah, it's a benchmark for the tournament. The highest score by any team so far in this tournament, 330. I would say it's an impactful innings from the point of view of the openers and how Shumo Shaka played. He really sort of took the attack to the South African bowlers early up when other teams might have been a little more circumspect and conservative and watchful. He went after the South Africans, and then that partnership of 142 was brilliant. Even the finishing off and rounding off of the innings with Mahmudullah, exactly what you want. I mean, this Bangladesh team is looking like they're smelling blood and they want to go for the kill. And in a literal sense, South Africa wounded in Ngidi, being injured, and Faf du Plessis having to go to a contingency in that of Aiden Markram and maybe JP Dumani, so that not helping South Africa's cause.
All right, let's spend some time on the South African cause at the moment. Before I get thoughts from Shahryar Nafees, let's go to Albi Morkel. And Albi, you said South Africa would be pretty happy chasing around 250. This is a different equation now. And tell me what you made of the South African bowling unit. Yes, hamstrung by the fact that Lungi and Ngidi had to go off and couldn't return to the field to complete his quota. But did South Africa bowl poorly regardless?
Yeah, I certainly got my prediction wrong this morning. It was pretty disappointing all around from South Africa. I think they looked flat in the field. They were very sloppy. A couple of misfields. We had that catch that went through the slips, I think, in the 4th or 5th over. So they just started off on the wrong foot. Initially I thought when we inserted them to bat that it's a positive move. We try and take them on with our strongest form, which is our bowlers. But after 5 overs, that tactic was out the window. The guys played exceptionally well. Sumaya took on the bowlers. He was scoring at 150 strike rate. So after that, plan A doesn't work. What's plan B? It just looked that they didn't have a plan B in place today. Unlike against England, where they took the pace off. Sort of through the middle overs, that worked for them. So it was pretty disappointing to see. It was almost like they gave up halfway and said, listen, whatever Bangladesh gets, we will chase later.
Yeah, that's pretty strong words. They just didn't look like they had a plan towards the middle phase or the entire large part of that innings. And we spoke of it on our social update too, Darren. Why did that plan that Albi says not work? We thought with Chris Morris, the extra pacer, they're going to try and really bounce Bangladesh out. Why did it not work for you?
Well, if you look at the 3 wickets that fell to the seamers, it was against short deliveries or short of a length deliveries. So again, proving the point that if you go short, if you go to that awkward length, it's effective, but you can't become predictable and you got to use it smart. And I think Ngidi, he looked like he was just having a little bit of a niggle before he eventually went off. He was down on pace, didn't really hit the deck very hard. But you saw the effects of it with Chris Morris. I just think the consistency was lacking very early in the innings. They didn't set the right tone, the right tempo, and the all cricket as well. If your all cricket falls down, then it has an overarching sort of effect on your entire team. And it's surprising to see South Africa, their standard of all cricket being so low.
Okay, Bangladesh's batsmen against the short ball in the power play is something that we're focusing on, and Darren makes a good point. There didn't seem to be that sort of awkwardness or purpose in the short pitch bowling, and that's why you can see 32 runs from 23 balls, because it's not the sort of short stuff that really peppered or troubled the Bangladesh batsmen, but for that one wicket of Soumya Sarkar. And the other point you were making, Karthik, was Chris Morris, who comes with such a huge reputation from 2020 cricket, but you can see why he didn't make the cut for the first 15. He averages over 40 in 30 odd ODIs, and it looked like he didn't have a bowling plan after the first few overs.
Yeah, bowling plan, and that too for a guy coming in. You want to be absolutely bursting at your seams, because you've been picked to play a World Cup. You've got the second lease of life, so to say. And this is something which I wanted to ask Albie as well. I think he comes in with this great reputation that he's a very good cricketer, but as Ronak said, I think the numbers, and I'm not a big fan of numbers, sure. They don't lie sometimes. And today was quite evident, Albie. I think just the way he bowled, it didn't seem as if he had any vigor or purpose to it. And some of the deliveries which were like literally floated. I couldn't understand what was the thought process behind, and not to forget the way everybody fielded.
Yeah, Albie, would you like to have a response to that? What Karthik says about Chris Morris, when you know your place in the team is anyway up for, isn't quite certain, would you expect a lot more?
Yes, look, things didn't go his way today. I think his character is quite a fiery character. He's someone that gives 100%. But even him today, you know, he looked flat. He got opportunity to play in the World Cup, and yeah, like I said, things didn't go his way. That's not only on him, you know. I think the whole bowling attack as a whole, it looked like they only had one plan. You know, we're going short of these guys. It didn't work. What next? Pechlaquaya was the most successful bowler today. Why? Because he was very clever. You know, he used his variations. He still used his bouncer, but in between he found his areas, and he used his slow balls well. I think you know, the rest of the seam attack can learn a lot from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And second game in a row that Andile Pechlaquaya has almost shown the sort of discipline that his more experienced and dare I say more capable bowlers haven't. We'll come to that discussion more in detail. But Shahryar Nafees is here. Shahryar, you would have been very pleased as a top order batsman to see just the almost the perfect template of 50 over batting. Start by the openers, experienced players coming in at 3 and 4 and batting through the majority of the innings, and then the perfect flurry at the end with 59 scored of the last 5.
Yes, that was, pre-show, that was the A game I was hoping that Bangladesh brings on today. Opening match, they had to start well, and what a start. 330 is a very, very good score in this wicket, though Oval has a very good batting track. Still, 330 big runs to chase. Starting with the openers, they started well. Shomu was brilliant today. Then Saqib and Mushfiq had an outstanding partnership. Then I was like bit unsure about the batting finishing, but today Mahmudullah and Mossadegh, they did really well. So a decent score. Bangladesh will be very happy with this score, and now they have to come, bowl smartly, field smartly, and finish the game off.
Yes, 142 of 141 between Shakib Al Hasan and Mushfiqur Rahim. So just the perfect partnership that you wanted from your two main batsmen. They had a bit of a blip after the Mushfiqur Rahim wicket, just 27 scored in overs 41 to 45, but they came back strongly with Mahmudullah. And that takes us to the point that we probably have to first question Faf du Plessis. And Darren, he lost Lungi and Giddy, yes, but there's a large part from that 20th to the 40th over where we didn't see Kagiso Rabada at all. In fact, we didn't see him after his first spell where he finished off in the 10th over. We didn't see him come back until the 33rd over, whereas in the England game, you saw Faf bring him on in the 20th over, getting Joe Root. Did he miss a trick not having either Rabada or Tahir go through that middle period? Yeah,
it's a common mistake that most captains make. You wait until a new pair gets set before you bring your most penetrative or attacking bowler onto show. I think that is something that most teams need to focus on. Wicket-taking ability in the middle period of the game, rather than react to a partnership developing. I think batsmen, you would say in the game of cricket, they're most vulnerable at the start of the innings. So if you get the experience of Shakib Al Hasan coming to the crease, you want to try and get him out early. Yes. If that doesn't work, then you can go to plan B and maybe use your lesser penetrative bowlers. But maybe it would have been a better option for him to try and spread Tahir and Rabada through the middle period, try to use them in 1 or 2 over spells to see if you can get a wicket and control the game a little bit more, rather than wait to the end to try and react to what we saw, that great partnership that set things up for Bangladesh.
I mean, Tahir only bowled 3 overs, 18, 20 and 22, and then came back straight in the 30th over. And that entire period, there's no rub about it. From an outsider, non-cricketer perspective, Karthik, if you have the 2 best batsmen, you'd want one or if not both your best bowlers bowling at them. Did South Africa just get a bit nervous, especially with the Lungi Ngidi injury? Just say, okay, let's just get all our part-timers out of the way? Yeah,
I don't know about the nervous bit, but they definitely thought they missed a trick by not having that. And also getting Markram ahead of somebody like a JP Dumini.
Who's just bowled 1 over to
Yeah,
Dumini.
exactly. So it was a bit surprising because Dumini, sometimes you ask him to bowl with a new ball, with a challenging field, and then when you need him at a time when Lungi Ngidi is not there, you don't use him and use somebody like a Markram. And that too, they just insisted on a certain type of field. There was nothing different. And I completely agree with both of you with regards to the fact that when you have somebody or 2 of the best batsmen coming out from the opposition, you want 2 of your best bowlers to be having a crack at them at least for 4 overs. You never know. You just try and get 1 wicket, try and break open one end, and then you can bring the lesser bowlers. There's no point in getting the lesser bowlers, get them set, and then bring the main bowlers to get them out. It doesn't work that way. Then you can have the Wands and the Muralitharans of the world, and then once the batsman is set in a one-day game, it doesn't happen. So a bit surprised with the way they operated.
Could you sense that perhaps the Lungi Ngidi injury forced Faf to do that, or is there still, would this criticism still be warranted? Because he was very good against England. Josh Butler comes in, he gets in Rabada, gives him a couple overs, he gets Joe Root. This time it seemed very different.
Yeah, I think the mindset has to change. Sometimes you can get into that mode where you're thinking, about what was used in T20 cricket. T20 cricket containing is just as important as wicket taking when you're bowling first. So your mindset need to change a bit in 50 over cricket. You've got to try to get wickets in that middle period. And how do you do that? You use your most penetrative bowlers. You make it difficult for the opposition batting to get starts and to get set. And forget about the last 10, because if you control the game in the middle, that will take care of itself.
Constantly been saying this World Cup is going to be a game of the middle overs. Games can be won and lost here. If you don't have wicket-taking bowlers in the middle, or you don't have the mindset to take wickets in the middle, this is exactly what you'll be doing. Chasing 300, big 300 plus targets.
The other thing that we were just talking before we went on air is how sloppy South Africa looked in the field, which is not necessarily something you expect from them.
Oh, absolutely. A team which prides itself on outdoor sport, on a team which prides itself on setting the benchmark in terms of fielding. You talk about the best fielders in the world who have been there. John T. Rhodes, Derek Crooks, Herschel Gibbs. And just the others, Hansi Cronje himself, one of the fittest people. It just looked very jaded. And the point which everybody made was that they just lacked a bit of bite on the field. It looked really, really sloppy, completely jaded, so to say. It felt as if they were playing the 9th game of the tournament, not the 2nd game.
It looks like there are some exceptional fielders, Du Plessis, Dumini, David Miller, and there are some pretty average or below average fielders, which can happen at times. But do you expect that from South Africa?
Well, it's not only about the fielding skills of the certain fielders in the South African team. I question the tactics as well. Coming on in the last 10 overs, some of the fielders were way inside the boundary line, a couple catches, just going up begging. So I just question that. I think in a World Cup match, a 50 over game, especially when you're under the pump, you've got to take a little bit of time for yourself as a captain or even as a player. They always say you've got to captain yourself when a cricket game is unfolding. I didn't think that all the South Africans were cued in. They looked like they were a little bit jaded. Yep. Yes, they were rushed, and that showed in the manner in which they fielded.
Very well. This is some serious criticism that's coming South Africa's way. But we'll see if the batsmen still have the resolve. Time for a short break. We'll talk about the South African chase on the other side of the break on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday.
something easier?
Welcome back to ESPN Cricinfo Matchday UK 2019. If you are a South African fan, you'd be just that little bit worried. Not only have you already found yourself fall behind in this ICC Cricket World Cup, you now see the batsmen with the daunting task of getting well in excess of 300 for the second game running. Now, with due respect to Bangladesh's bowling, it's not England's bowling, but it could still make 330 look very, very difficult. Let's go to Albie Morkel and just get a word on the South African batting. And they don't have one of their most influential, talismanic top-order batsmen in Hashim Amla. Just thoughts, Albie, this looks quite the difficult task. How does South Africa go about it to make sure that they don't lose 2 out of 2?
I think difficult's a bit of an understatement. I think Bangladesh has got a fantastic score on the board. They'll be very confident in defending that, I must say. You know, they've got a good all-round attack, and South Africa will be under immense pressure. You know, from our side, from a supporter side, I just hope that what happened in the field doesn't filter through to the batting now. That was very, very sloppy, and they're going to need a very professional performance now to get over the line. You know, we're going to need a Quinton, a Faf, calling on them again to score big scores, but hopefully we can see 100 from young Adam Markham today, you know, for him to set the tone and for him to make his mark in international cricket as a white ball player. I certainly think we can do it, but I must admit it's advantage Bangladesh.
Well, they'll have to bat out of their skins, the South Africans. Good point Albie Morkel makes, advantage Bangladesh. Let's have a look at our Hotstar top comment from Sarthak in Mumbai. Will South Africa be able to produce a good batting display, especially in the absence of Hashim Amla? Will they adopt a cautious approach after the poor performances against England in the same venue? Darren Ganga, we know that Quinton de Kock plays one way. Aidan Markram's got this huge reputation, but he's not quite nailed it in white ball cricket. What do you expect the approach to be?
Well, it's not going to be doom and gloom for South Africa. I think a couple of things we need to take into consideration. Conditions still favouring batting. That is something that South Africa could take heart from, the manner in which the Bangladeshi batters applied themselves. They got good returns for that application. So if you put yourself and set yourself up and lay a good foundation for your innings, you have a chance of getting a big one. If you look at this top 5 or top 6 South Africa batting, close to 40 one-day centuries in this batting lineup. So that's substantial. Again, I think this team just needs one good performance to change their campaign around. Sometimes as a team, you know, and you're not getting wins under your belt, you're struggling in different departments, you just need to win a tough game to get things back on track. So I'm still very confident that South Africa will compete. It wouldn't be a walkover to Bangladesh because their confidence is high, but I think this South African batting lineup has the strength, has the teeth to chase this total.
Albie says advantage Bangladesh. You concur?
Yeah, absolutely. 330 is a lot of runs. Yes, the wicket is flat, but at the end of the day, you just played a game 2 days ago, lost a game by a big margin. It's just the approach. Can you just shrug it off? Can you just forget the fact that you didn't field well, you didn't bowl well? Don't allow any of the other things to spill over. It's going to be advantage Bangladesh for sure.
Very well. Thank you very much to Murli Karthik and Darren Ganga. Darren Ganga still re-emphasizing that this is a good South African batting unit. Albie Morkel still says it's advantage Bangladesh. I wonder what colour Albie's tie will be at the end of the show if South Africa don't make it over the line and get 2 out of 2 going against them. But if they win it, I think we will see a very happy Albie Morkel, and we would have seen a heck of a chase from South Africa. That's coming up on the other side of the break. We'll catch you for post-match comments on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday UK 2019.